Hello and welcome to a new edition of our show, Money Means Business, as we always say, and business means a lot of money. Money and security, stability and business mean a lot of money. I'm Nermin Nazim, and we are talking tonight about more projects, what's going on in Egypt and our local scene. There is a lot happening on our scene here, of course, in the Middle East and worldwide. But in Egypt, a lot is happening. For Egypt, a lot is happening. And I'd like to introduce our guest, Engineer Medhat El Kady, International Transportation, actually Chairman of Egyptian Internal Freight Forwarding Association. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. Be talking more, actually starting to talk about our issue just after the break. We'll come back in a moment. Don't go away, stay tuned to us. And welcome back again to Money Means Business, and our guests again are Dr. Ahmed Al-Shami, a finance consultant and feasibility studies expert. Welcome again, sir, with us.
Thank you.
And Engineer Medhat El Kady, Chairman of Egyptian International Freight Forwarding Association. Welcome again, sir, with us.
Thank you.
And as we always start, how do you see the changes happening on our scene? Now we know the Parliament, and a lot of changes, going to the Security Council, and more. That's what happening to Egypt.
I prefer to start with Engineer Medhat El Kady.
Okay.
It's the first time here. It is the first time here.
So the ground is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, of course, we are now a country which served all its obligations. So we have our constitution, we have our president, we have our parliament. Before the end of this year, we have our first parliament will be gathering, and I think right now Egypt has a very good relation with all big countries, and also with Europe, with America, with most of the power in the world. Now Egypt is back to its normal. That's of course is very important for the business and for the trade. Having such good climate is very important for doing business.
Okay, so we start, doing business.
I will try to explain in a very short, summarized. Doing business is a report issued by the World Bank Group, and it's a report where every investor will have to read before he enter any business opportunity in any country. So it is one of the major points when any investors will have a decision to enter a market. The report is measuring main factors for doing business. I can summarize it very shortly, like the procedure for starting new business, and also the time, so the procedure and the time, the formalities for building and getting the license, the time and the cost to connect the electricity to the national grid, the procedures and time for remittance of money, the procedure and time for resolving any commercial disputes, as well as the time and the cost for recovery and exit scenario in case he want to exit the project. These factors are very important for any investors. There is no investor will invest in Egypt and will not be able to get his money back or get his profit back. Also very important is the custom procedures, the time and the cost for the export and the import in the country. And these factors is known to the government, and since more than 8 years, Egypt has done remarkable steps in improving its position in the doing business report, and I'm sure that in my opinion that the Prime Minister will have a mandatory achievement to the ministers concerned with these issues to improve Egypt ranks in this doing business report. The reason that in case that the mega project like Port Said will have a special law, which is the law number 83 for 2002 and its amendment of number 27 2015 for having a special economic zone, it gives a lot of privilege for such economic zones, which we will speak about it later. But of course that will make a big gap between the areas where they are enjoying a special law, which is needed actually to promote the project. I mean, it's very important, it's very good to have such law and to have a privilege in this area in order to invite the investors. But meantime, we have to pick up the whole other areas in Egypt in order to not to have internal competition.
Yes.
So that's very important, and I think Mr. Ahmed will also have a few remarks about the World Bank group in this doing business report. It's very easy to have subnational report the same, like who's the best in the construction. It's the governance of Suez, so let's see how Suez government is doing it good, and let's copy it in the other governance.
Yes.
So this is at least, this is the minimum we can do in a very short period. And I think there is a lot of government bodies are doing that right now. There is some
so it's somehow, you know, just to kind of close the gap, or let's say, you know, solve this
at least
issue.
To have more or less the same.
Are there any efforts solving these, you know, controversies and these problems taking place? Otherwise, all these projects that we're talking about and laying ground to is difficult.
Yeah, I'm quite sure, and I'm very optimistic that this is going to be happen. Simply because your show is. Money means business, and time means money. So that's very important that the time factor is known to everybody working in Egypt, in the private sector, in the public sector. So I would believe that one of the targets of Dr. Ahmed Darwish in his role, that SC zone would rank in the top 50 in the, let's say, after 3 years from now.
3 years?
At least when the infrastructure is there, so whenever the chart of the investments and the laws which will be implemented will be there, and he has a good chance. Why? Because the law number 83 for 2002 and the amendment are very flexible and are giving a lot of authority to the authority. So they can find the area, they can sell the land, they can give the license, they can propose the custom formalities, of course not the duties but the formalities. They can also make the notary procedures, so for notarization of the buildings. They can also issue the building license for the construction.
Yes.
They can also make some reforms in the taxes, in the custom authorities. And also there is some very good points for the investors, like there is no nationalization for any project or any problems would be created unless there is a final court ruling.
Yes.
But we have to think in a modern way. And I'm sure that Dr. Ahmed Darouche in this issue especially, he's one of the best who can achieve this. He has a vast experience in his time when he was minister, and he had a lot of plans, and he did a lot of achievements in this place. Because you cannot believe that in the area, for instance, in the east of Port Said, there is 22% of the container traffic worldwide is passing just few meters from this area. And 22% of the world container fleet is passing through this sea way. And 90% of the long haul container traffic is passing through, and our share is just very little. So I do believe that we should have a target. I mean, the target should be fixed. We should be within that rank, within that period. This should be a target for Egypt, because SC zone can bring Egypt economy up, but the bureaucracy can bring SZ zone also down. This is very important for people to understand that in this area, things are not going to go on the same way like the rest of the business in Egypt.
Okay. The thought here, because we're going for a short break, after which we're coming back. Stay tuned to us, don't go. We're coming back to you in a moment.
Egypt has uniquely undergone 2 revolutions in less than 3 years for better living and the rule of democracy. Egypt remains, after all, as an attractive investment destination despite the difficulties it faced. Ahead of the 2011 revolution, the Egyptian economy was performing well, as confirmed by all KPIs.
We feel very confident about the Egyptian market. The main factors or the main pillars of the Egyptian economy are still here, and they're not going anywhere.
Egypt is a good place to invest, first of all, because it's a big market. It's a big local market. It's a good geographical location. You have good people, and the costs are competitive. So it's a great place. It was, it is, and it will be a great place to invest.
And welcome back again to Money Means Business. And as we always say, also time means a lot of money, and it's very important. And we've got with us our guest again, Engineer Medhat El Kady and Dr. Ahmed Shami. And we were talking how to do business in Egypt, what it takes, and what should we do in order to make the road smooth and correct the ills that we have here and start clean and thrive on that.
That's right. And I believe that for Dr. Ahmed Darwish, he has a golden opportunity.
Yes.
Why he has the golden opportunity? Because in the past he was doing or trying to do government administrative reform. And he knows the problems, and he knows also how to solve it. And he has a good support from the leadership of the country.
Yes.
And he has a new version area which is ready to attract the business, and he need to draw with his team, of course, the business attraction modules,
yes,
so people can come and attract. The project actually is an old project, and that's what I want to also mention always. It was proposed to President Sadat by Minister Hassaballah Kafrawi, but it was not done at that time, and then it was proposed again to past President Hosni Mubarak, and then thanks God that it was approved now. The project is serving not only the Suez Canal area, but also especially for Port Said.
Yes.
This project is very important. As you know that Port Said East to Port Said West, there is no connectivity. You have to go by a ferry. So Port Said East port was not getting its enough volume, which was drawn to attract it. So right now they are doing about 3.5 million container a year, while their capacity can get 8 million container because of the connectivity. Now with the 7 tunnels, with the these tunnels are going to serve the whole area of East Port Said, which it's very important to mention why I wanted to talk about Port Said. Port Said is the highest percent of crime, is the highest percent of smuggling cases, is the highest property price all over Egypt. Don't ask me why, but the lands
Port
are very
Said.
limited.
Port Said, yes.
yeah. 1 square meter in Port Said for a nice, decent apartment would cost you from 8 to 12,000 pounds. From 8 to 12,000 pounds in Port Said, because there are no lands. The highest in unemployment. So this project is very important for Port Said, and I'm very happy that the start and President Sisi have started the project from Port Said. It is a message,
yes,
to this brave city, and the people deserve to have such opportunity, such a project. I would also like to recall projects like, for instance, 6th of October. 6th of October was founded 1979. The law and the place was allocated at 1979. That's already some long time ago.
Yeah.
Right now, we have more than 2,000 big factories over there. There are more than 200-something thousand people working in these factories. There are more than 580,000 apartments over there. There is the big media city over there. So, and that's, by the way, it's not a special economic zone. That's a normal industrial area. So you can imagine that this is done for instance, for the whole 460 kilometers, which was announced. It's the service, the area allocated for this project. So we may expect, don't be surprised if this area can accommodate millions of people over there, and would create $billions to the Egyptian economy.
yes.
So we do have the very good support, and now we have to work hard and to try to solve this conflict in order to achieve a good result.
That's wonderful.
These 4 items, it's very important because investing in human resource, look for small and medium industry. Of course, agriculture is most important, because we have to improve first industrial and agricultures, and we have the port to receive and send, import and export.
Yes.
If we make development in only ports just to increase the imports, we are not in the right track.
If you allow me, I would disagree with Ahmed in his say about the naval officers managing the ports. I think that we have very good chairmen who have managed the ports in a very...
I'm not talking about all of them.
Yeah, I know, but let me explain this, because maybe the audience will misunderstand it, and we have to make it clear we are here to support. And we are here to support, meaning that when we see something good, we should also give credit to them. So, for instance, last week, Egypt has been elected again as a member in the executive board of the IMO, and this is a very good achievement, and it is done in a professional way. So this is a new achievement to the maritime transport sector in general.
Yes.
We have a lot of renovation done in the ports, and it's under renovation. So, for instance, Adabia port, if you go to the port over there, the whole port is under construction. The port of Alexandria, I mean, people coming, visiting the port of Alexandria, they would never imagine that this is a port in Egypt. Port Said East, of course, is a new port, so it's still keeping its standard. There are a lot of things to be done in the ports, and especially marketing of the ports and so on. There's not much done in this sector. And I never seen one of the ports in any international exhibition, for instance. So we should
start that way, and going this way.
We should start promoting this kind of facility we do have, because our share is not enough. But the problem when we speak about the ports, and I don't like to speak a lot about ports in today's show, because it might take a lot, but the port is taking all the problems of all the authorities. It's coming at the end to the port, because the port must be a waterway and is a runway to the country. Should never be a bottleneck. So the port is there not to keep the cargo inside the port. The port is there to discharge the cargo, immediately go to its final destinations. But why the cargo is staying? Problems from the central bank, not enough currency to pay, some customs or import control, or maybe the importer itself has a problem. But they say at the end of the day, you say, okay, Alexandria is the lead time in Alexandria is that many days. And also the point which was also expressed to me in one of the meetings by some multinational factories producing in Egypt, and they are importing cargo to several Egyptian ports. And if you see I've asked one of these companies, what is the lead time for you to have your cargo from arrival to the port to the factory? And now the factories are producing on just-in-time delivery, so they don't keep stock. The raw material is going directly to the factory under production line, and finished product is being exported to other markets, and that will be also the same in SZ zone. It will be focused on that. So a lead time must be there, and to my surprise, the lead time from different Egyptian ports are completely different. So lead time from Alexandria, for instance, is 8 days. From Damietta is 7 days. From Sokhna is 4 days. From Port Said East is so there is not a standard lead time in
all out of standard. All out of standard.
So that's what we have to work.
Standardize.
We have a lot to do on that issue. Especially, we have to do a lot on that issue.
Yeah. One word, final words, Engineer Medhat?
Yeah, the final word, I would address it to Dr. Ahmed Darwish. I would love to see the SZ zone paperless. No papers. Everything is electronic.
Electronics.
EDI exchange. I would love also to see the law, which is put it that way. We need foreign investment. Our local investment are not enough to cover our ambitious plan. So we need the law to be written in English as well. In the meantime, when it's issued in الوقائع, it should be also translated. We should not send it to a translation office to translate it. We should be prepared
to be issued
for foreign investors to read the law the moment it's issued.
Definitely.
So that's very important points. I would also like that the people work very hard. I mean, we should not sit and wait for the government to do things for us. We should also work very hard, get ourselves ready for our next good future.
Yes.
Stay out of Facebook.
Stay out of Facebook and the social media hubs. Okay. But sometimes, you know, it's a good, you know, you get some information. Some are just, you know, like some spread wrong information on purpose. But anyway, you know, well. Well, gentlemen, Engineer Medhat El Kady, thank you very much for being with us. For being with us. As for our viewers, thank you for being there. We'll see you again next week, but as we always end, we say, God bless our Egyptian army, God bless our Egyptian people, God bless our president, God bless our Egypt in general. See you next week. Come to Egypt, visit us. We always are welcoming you. Goodbye for now.